In this video, we take a look at the Fair Isle pattern. Stay with me and I'll show you how. The Fair Isle pattern is made using 2 or 3 colours, but we would only ever work with a maximum of 2 colours on any one row. This is what it looks like from the back, where we have the rows of yarn called floats. This is where the yarn that's not being knitted with is brought to the back. These floats give the knitted piece a double thickness, which makes it a very warm and cosy stitch, great for hats and gloves, and even winter woolly jumpers. You can find patterns to follow in books or digital downloads, and after a while you can even come up with your own. So let's get started. There are many ways to hold your yarn when working with 2 colours. We can hold one in each hand like this, changing which hand loops the yarn over, depending on which colour we need. Another method is to have both yarns in the dominant hand, with the forefinger and middle finger in between, and the ring, pinky and thumb holding both the yarns. Changing which finger yarns over, depending on which colour we need. Another method is to just let both yarns drop and pick up the one you need. There's no right or wrong way to hold the yarn. Try out different things and find whichever way works best for you. Whenever we're changing colour, we want to make sure that our tension is relatively loose, so that we don't pull our floats too tight. We still want there to be some stretch in the fabric. We also don't want them so loose that we have a lot of excess yarn that will easily catch on things. With a bit of practice, you will find the correct tension for your floats. Here we have a printout of a Fair Isle pattern. The white squares represent our main colour, or colour A, and the black squares are our pattern colour, or colour B. Along the bottom we have these numbers that indicate stitches. This shows us how many stitches are needed for the pattern. And working up along the side are the numbers indicating how many rows are in our pattern. This pattern has a repeat of 28 stitches, so we would cast on in multiples of 28. If we're working in rows, we would read our pattern from right to left on odd rows, and left to right on even rows, reading the pattern back and forth. If we're working in the round, like we're going to do, we read every row of the pattern from right to left. I've knitted the first few rows of the pattern. My main colour, or colour A, is blue, and my pattern colour, or colour B, is red. We're going to pick up this pattern from row 6, and on our pattern we can see we have 5 white squares, so we need to knit the first 5 stitches in colour A. And then on the pattern we come to our first black square, which means we need to add in our new colour. To add our new colour, we come into the next stitch knitwise. We take our new yarn and loop it over the needle and pull it through, adding our new colour. Our next 2 squares are white, so we knit 2 in colour A. Then we have a black square, so we knit in colour B, 2 more in colour A, and 1 in colour B. Now we come to 7 knit stitches in colour A. This can lead to a very long float in colour B, so to deal with this we're going to start carrying the yarn. I would suggest doing this if we have more than 5 stitches in one colour, and I like to pick up the second yarn every 3rd stitch. We knit the first 2 as normal. We come through the next stitch. We take our float yarn and we bring that over the working needle. And then we knit as normal bringing the loop through colour A and B. We can see that colour B has been picked up between 2 stitches of colour A. Let's carry on. We knit 2, and on the 3rd stitch we come through the stitch as though to knit. We yarn colour B over the working needle, yarn over colour A, and pull it through. Picking up colour B between 2 stitches. We knit the last of our 7 stitches, and we carry on with our pattern. We next have 1 stitch in colour B, 2 in colour A, 1 in colour B, 2 in colour A, 1 in colour B. And now we've come back to our 7 stitches in colour A. Here we see we have 2 at the end of the pattern, and it carries on with 5 at the beginning pattern, where the pattern repeats. Knit 2, pick up the yarn on the 3rd stitch by bringing it over the working needle, and knit. Remembering to keep your stitches spread out and your tension relatively loose, so that the floats don't pull the stitches too tight. And we carry on with our pattern. And that's how to do the Fair Isle stitch.